On the first episode, we showed you how we started working on the intake ports. It is actually done now. We got the shape achieved in the finished texture. So we'll get to it in this episode. And as promised, more on the exhaust ports. Alright, we start off by spraying a little bit of WD-40 just to lubricate, because we're gonna start off with a carbide cutter. This way, shaping it to how we want it won't take forever. Now, before we go further, a solid tip for you guys. On the D series, the exhaust does not have vtec, just the intake. So you gotta port the exhaust to have good airspeed on the low cam to maintain torque, but still have it quite efficient on the high cam. This way it does not rob power. So you gotta figure out how to do it properly. And that's some of the things that we'd like to keep. So let's continue. And always do this in a well ventilated area, because we don't want your heads getting better but your lungs getting more damaged. So we need a good driver, so we have to stay healthy. And so you just keep moving the carbide, because the moment you stop, it starts carving in too much. So just to be safe, just keep, a consistent movement, so that you don't overdo certain things or certain areas. Of course, that's for the DIY guys, but if you want more power or a more sure upgrade, we got years of experience porting heads from D series to B series to even K series, S2000, Mitsubishi, Nissan, and everything else. Oh, and the Toyota blacktop. So let us know your power goals and application. We got you. Anyways, let's speed this up. Alright, rough shaping done. Yeah, now let's head over to the wash bin and rinse this, then to the workbench. Some of you may wonder, but yes, the cylinder head gets about 4 to 5 times washing for us to be able to inspect it better. The block, at least 3 times. And a little closer now, you can see the shape that it has turned into. Now we got to go with the 80 grit and then the 120 grit, just to get it smooth in texture. Now here's a more closer angle or shot of the exhaust port. Now you can see we'd never really hogged it out. The other angle, you can see all the consistency is there in the straight shot. And off we go with the 80 grit sanding roll to get it smooth. Okay, once again, we have our own mix. It's 50% ethyl alcohol and 50% liquid soap. We tried using WD-40 or even kerosene, but the problem is it smears out the carbon buildup and it just makes it all messy while you're working. So we try to avoid that. Okay, now here we are with 80 grit cartridge roll. Going to get it smooth. Soft, even strokes help maintain consistency. This way, you just remove little by little, because, obviously we can't return to position what we've grounded off. So there's no turning back. So we gotta go step by step until we get the texture that we desire. So here we go. Yep. All right. Now we gotta flip it over. On this part, we try not to remove so much material on the floor because you don't really want to lower the floor because it doesn't help flow. But you raise the roof so the party gets crunk. And now on to the bowl blending. You can actually look at the porting video that we did. You can click up here because even though it's the intake port, the approach and theory is still the same. You try to smooth out the short turn but not removing too much, and the bowl, just remove the casting flash. A quick inspection after this. Now we're on to 120 grit for the next level of texture to get it a little bit smoother. And you can see with the mix that we made, it gets it clean and bright and makes the exhaust part easier to visualize. As you can see, it's obvious. Now onto the floor, and I can see the consistency that we like. As obvious in this video, right? And after a little bit more inspection, we sprayed a little more lube and then made another pass. This is the second pass for the 120 grit, just to get it smoother than it is, you know? So it passes our standard when it comes to finishes. Now smoothing out the bowl for the final texture. And we gotta make sure it's consistent. We spray a bit more just to get it up to our standards. Yeah. So now solvent cleaning before we head to the workbench to show you the finished product. Let's go. Alright, now after being blow dried, here it is, the finished exhaust ports. And we can see that it's ready to go. Now let's look at it closer, the finished product. Streamlined and efficient. And you can tell it will carry good airspeed while be efficient at the top end. Because 80% of the time, when the power is not carrying over past peak, your exhaust cannot flow anymore. That's why. That's why it falls on its face. So you thought we forgot to show you the intake ports, huh? Nuh-uh. Here it is. Now here's the finished texture of the intake ports. We had to finish porting the head to avoid downtime as the machine shop is taking a bit of time to press in our pistons. We can't really blame them, they're running on 50% manpower. As you can see, we didn't really hog the ports to maintain maximum airspeed. This is gonna have such good response and fuel efficiency. Perfect for a street car with a bit of performance. We're gonna have the head resurfaced and minor machine work and then fully assembled and ready. And we will show you when it's done, of course. And we got a surprise for Bossing Gibo, owner of G-Spot Racing Team. As he pays attention to every single detail, here's a picture of before, midway, and after. Hope you enjoyed this one. We will be assembling the pistons and we will show you every single detail including ring clocking and other accessories. Thank you.